करप्सनबाट पैसा कमाएको छ भने वाइ सुड दे वरी हार्डवर्कबाट गरेको छ भने बल्ल माई फादर डिड अ हार्डवर्क सो आई गट टु डु हार्डवर्क टु मेक मनी भन्ने कन्सेप्ट जान्छ नि त. वाट गुड डु यु सी एन्ड इम्पोर्टिङ एप्पल वाइल यु आर डिकेङ यु एप्पल एन्ड हुम्ला जुम्ला एन्ड वाइल स्टिल यु आर इम्पोर्टिङ फेन्सी लुकिङ एप्पल. तिमी सधैँ त्यो बाटो सफा गरिरहेछ तर पनि फेरि फोहोर भइरहेछ. Japanese, they started implementing QC, quality circle, in the Japanese enterprises, and they were the market leaders by 20 years. They were the market leaders in every forefront. अब यहाँनिर नेपालमा हेऱ्यो भने त्यो इम्प्लोइ राइटको लागि यो देयर आर प्लेन्टी अफ अर्गनाइजेसन्स होइन, तर दे टेक नो इनिसिएटिभ टु सल्भ द प्रब्लम अफ द वर्क प्लेस.
मुभिङ अन, मलाई हजुरको अर्को सुन्न मन लागेको कुरा चाहिँ वाट आर द अपर्च्युनिटिज द्याट यु सी एन्ड द च्यालेन्जेस द्याट यु सी होइन फर द न्युवर जेनेरेसन अफ द कन्ट्री कि. अनि वाट आई वान्ट टु प्रेजेन्ट एन एडिसनल डेटा द्याट आई वान्ट टु प्रेजेन्ट टु यु इज नेपालको अहिले मिडियन एज 24 वर्षको अरे होइन. सो मेजोरिटी अफ द पिपल आर 24 year old एन्ड वी आर वान अफ द यङ्गेस्ट कन्ट्री. वी आर वान अफ द यङ्गेस्ट कन्ट्री होइन. अनि अबको 10 वर्षमा पनि वी विल बी ओन्ली बी एज ओल्ड एज 28 year old गरेकै होइन. सो वी वुड स्टिल बी भेरी यङ कन्ट्री इन नेक्स्ट 10 years. सो वाट आर द अपर्च्युनिटिज डु यु सी?
Opportunities are everywhere, every corner. The only thing is like your enthusiasm to lead. The lead.
L-E-A-D?
Yes.
So we need more leaders?
Yes, to ability to lead. But then where does the leadership come from? That's a fundamental question we got to ask. That leadership comes from your ability to do something of your own, like what the central theme we have, your ability to hack, that builds up your confidence, and that builds your leadership. So the problem with the present generation a lot, I see, is a consumerism everywhere.
So true.
With the consumerism, the problem is their minds are blank. They stop thinking.
But then it's very good for a lot of businesses.
Yes and no.
Why no?
No, because suppose for me, my business is to make more leaders. So I want more people to think.
Okay.
So not good for me.
Oh, true. For example, अब PUBG बनाउनलाई त सही हो नि त. I have seen people जो रात दिन अब until and unless they are making money out of PUBG, they are taking fame out of PUBG, they are traveling the world out of PUBG. That's very fine. They are making most out of a technology for their life होइन. But then I have seen a lot of people हुन्छ नि होइन यसो इन्टरटेनमेन्टको लागि खेल्ने कि 24 घण्टा खेल्दिने कि.
Game is one thing. Consumerism everywhere. Proprietary software is also promote consumerism.
तर यसो हुन्छ सर, फर एक्जाम्पल मैले फोटोसप युज गरेर ग्राफिक डिजाइनिङ युज गरेर मैले राम्रो कमाइरहेको छु, राम्रो गरिरहेको छु, एउटा बिजनेस ह्यान्डल गरिरहेको छु नि त. वाट्स दे टु नराम्रो कुरा के भयो त्यसमा? कन्ज्युमरिजम भयो पनि.
I mean, if your investment is paid up by your own skill and outcome, that's always good. Because you are investing 10%, making 90% out of it is always good. Okay? But then for everything, like suppose you're doing a hobby photography and you're buying expensive software but never making money out of it, is a consumerism. I mean, where that's not giving a return out of it.
True. अनि आई थिङ्क हामीलाई चाहिँ जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल अब कसरी के पनि भनेर डिफाइन गरिदिन सक्छ कि मलाई मजा आइरहेछ नि त, मेरो मनमा मजा आइरहेछ भनेर चाहिँ इट्स रिटर्न द्याट आइम गेटिङ भनेर चाहिँ डिफाइन गरिदिन सक्छ.
That could be. And we were relating with the youngsters.
We were relating with the youngsters. So that's a problem that you see. What are the opportunities that you see?
Opportunity with the consumerism?
होइन त्यो प्रब्लम देख्नु हो नि त हजुरले. कन्ज्युमरिजम बेसी छ अहिलेको नयाँ जेनेरेसनमा भन्नुभयो नि त होइन. Is that the only aspect that you see for the new generation?
No, not really. There are good things also.
On a positive note?
So, not all youth are all that driven with the consumerism. I've seen youth who are passionate about their own skill set, who are passionate about learning new skills, new technology, or maybe new areas, or focusing on solving the problem that society is facing and converting those solutions to a business opportunity. We have seen many youth like that, and more youths are coming up. So, but then this huge mass, they're taking education as a like only spoon feed. They're taking media as a spoon feed. They're taking your, like, let's say, lifestyle, where they're doing plenty of investment or spending without a bit of awareness that they got to make out of it, and which is in fact corrupting themselves and their age.
What could be the solution, sir?
This got to be challenged. Challenged in the sense, like, they are to be given the problem. Why? First, we need to identify and understand, like, why is the people in that culture? Because they are not engaged through problems that we are facing,
or they are not engaged through the things that they have been fed. के I mean, like, the education पहिलेदेखि fed भएको भन्छ है, that should be a kind of an engagement वाला feeding के.
Exactly.
हैन, अब यहाँ त स्पुन फिडिङै भयो. पहिलेदेखि बच्चैदेखि प्रब्लम सल्भ गर्न दिएको भयो, त्यो ह्याबिट भएर एटिट्युड भइदिन्छ होला कि ठुलो भइसकेपछि केही न केही प्रब्लम सल्भ गरौँ न, हैन, केही न केही सल्भ नगरिकन अप्ठ्यारो लाग्ने ऊ हुने, हैन. I think,
and maybe earlier generation who always imported everything made them more consumers. यो अहिलेको जेनेरेसन चाहिँ त्यो कन्ज्युमरिजमतिर जानुको खास कारण पनि के होला भने, सो हाउ इज द्याट देयर प्यारेन्ट्स देयर सिनियर्स मेकिङ मनी लाइक करप्सनबाट पैसा कमाएको छ भने वाइ सुड दे वरी, लाइक हार्डवर्कबाट गरेको छ भने बल्ल माई फादर डिड अ हार्डवर्क सो आई गट टु डु हार्डवर्क टु मेक मनी भन्ने कन्सेप्ट जान्छ नि त, होइन. सधैँ सबै कुरा इम्पोर्ट गरेर कमिसनबाट पैसा कमाइरहेछ भने, होइन, वाइ सुड दे वर्क हार्ड?
सो डु यु ब्लेम प्यारेन्टिङ पनि big time?
It's not about blaming, but what I tend to see is what is the culture they are inculcating, or what is the culture they are transferring. अहिलेको जेनेरेसन सबै कुरा इम्पोर्टमा डिपेन्डेन्सीमा फोकस छ भने त युथ अभियसली त्यसैबाट मोडल हुन्छ.
वाइ इम्पोर्ट अलवेज हेज टु बी सिन एज अ इजी मोडल अफ बिजनेस के?
Because you don't need to manufacture, you don't need to struggle to reinvent the product or service.
And don't you emphasize on marketing, sales, the process that it goes to sell the product? तो त्यसले भ्यालु नै एड गर्दैन, त्यसको वेटै छैन, त्यसमा क्रिएटिभिटी नै छैन.
In the long run, the society is hollow. I mean, you are always bringing in something, and like, let's say, what good do you see in importing apple while you are decaying your apple in the Humla or Zimla, and while you are importing fancy looking apple? So what good do you see?
मैले पहिला के भने, पहिला एप्पल इम्पोर्टिङ एप्पल चाहिँ आइफोनको कुरा गरेको होला, फेरि हुम्ला जुम्ला गरेपछि आफै इम्पोर्टिङ एडिबल एप्पल जस्तो भयो. नाउ द्याट, बट देन यु आर कम्पेयरिङ टु डिफ्रेन्ट प्रोडक्ट्स.
No, it's the same product.
An apple which is to be consumed through, like, electronic apple, and there is an edible.
No. Edible. I'm talking about the edible.
You are talking about the edible apple.
Edible apple.
Fancy looking apple भन्नु हो नि त नि.
Fancy looking भनेको त्यो चाइनिज एप्पलहरु कस्तो fancy,
राम्रो चिटिक्क परेको र. So we import a lot of apple, है.
Yeah.
आज म बिहान एप्पल खाएर आएको. So true. Make त्यो त अफ कोर्स. तर मैले भन्न खोजेको एप्पल इम्पोर्ट गरे ल ठिक छैन. तर लेट्स से वी इम्पोर्ट थिङ्स द्याट क्यान नट बी प्रड्युस इन नेपाल. लेट्स से कुनै एउटा अस्ट्रिच इम्पोर्ट गऱ्यौँ रे हामीले.
वाइ अस्ट्रिच?
कङ्गारू इम्पोर्ट गऱ्यौँ रे हामीले.
I mean, fine. Well, why wouldn't this entrepreneur who is importing also support someone who is producing? Or balance the business with both import and export?
त्यसको लागि चाहिँ मनी प्रायोरिटी हुन भएन के.
It's not about like money.
फास्ट के अरे स्पिडमा चाहिँ, हैन, इन अ सर्ट टर्म हजुरले भनेको कुरा डज नट मेक मोर मनी के सर्ट टर्ममा. नट बिङ ब्लाइन्ड टु अ लट अफ एस्पेक्ट द्याट वी आर टकिङ टुडे, हैन, वुड एक्चुली मेक मोर मनी इन अ सर्ट टर्म के. मेक सेन्स?
It does.
And I think people are very short minded नि त, किनभने अबको पैसा कमाउनु छ, घर बनाउनु छ, गर्नु छ, छोरालाई हुर्काउनु छ, अरू के चाहियो मलाई, हैन र. एउटा पाँच ठाउँमा जग्गा किन्न छ, अझ एउटा घर बनाउनु छ, कि त अझ एउटा कम्पनी ब्रान्च खोल्न छ.
Yeah, that's one aspect. But then what you're forgetting out of it? What is the sales commission do you get out of like a certain product? 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%. What is the margin that you make if you're producing yourself, if you have already seen the market? So I can give you an example. So, see, Binod Chaudhary,
Mm.
he could have always imported noodles and sold, and he could have made a bit of money.
Mm.
But then,
In a long run,
long run, he would have never been
a billionaire.
billionaire.
If you not have produced.
So, one single thing, no, not just importing, but I got to also manufacture. He hacked into the business,
The core business.
core business,
Ah.
and that made him a billionaire.
True.
So that is the spirit. So a business, we need to look at the short term, but we got to also look at the long term, and both one has to complement the other.
Take many steps for the short term, but always plan and have a vision for a long term.
Exactly.
And when you plan for a long term, a lot of your mini steps can be altered.
Yeah.
Because you know those mini steps will not add any value in the long run.
They brought, I guess, with the LG, but then also they
Brought
parallelly
CZ.
CZ.
But it's the same thing. Like assemble no garne ho.
Exactly.
Ah.
See, there could be the balance, provided you have a bit of a hacking spirit in you.
Spirit in it. And I think अघि पनि हजुरले ह्याकिङको कुरा गर्नु हुँदैन. सो लाइफ ह्याक, ग्रोथ ह्याक होइन, यो चाहिँ पढाउनै पर्यो नि त बच्चाले.
Exactly. And if you remember, in every single class, my first class used to be how to become a hacker. I always started with that. Because what I knew is coding and everything is fine. But unless and until you have that hacker inside in your brain.
सो एउटा क्या एकदम पर्सनल क्वेसन सोध्छु ल सर. ओके, अलिकति ड्रामेटिक बनाउँछु ल म यो क्वेसनलाई. माई क्वेसन इज टु माई टिचर होइन, on a state where I am a teacher right now, how have you taught differently to me that I may not have observed in a upper level, so that maybe I can implement that while I am teaching right now. बुझ्नु भयो? Okay, answer me.
So I guess let's start with you wanted to resolve your problem. And you're looking like how could my technology skill or knowledge of
product. It does not even have to be a technological. It could be the way, your approach to teaching.
Exactly. I'm only taking an example. You might have thought about it, and then I give you something, but then I don't try to make you completely dependent on me to realize that. Even in learning, what I give is I give them a way out to learn and master something, but
without the dependency of yours.
Yes, and I try to limit the dependency in me, because the moment they are dependent, they're killing their learning spirit.
Because you might be there only for one semester.
Yeah, or I might be there only for short period of time. They have their whole life to live.
So now, if we have to be very specific, what are the steps that you took, to make sure that the students were less dependent on you for the evolvement? What are the mini steps that you took?
Yes. One, I gave them more challenges and problems. Next, I brought best role model from the team and demonstrated, hey, if your friend can learn, you can learn.
So तिनीहरुकै ग्रुपबाट एउटा मान्छेलाई तानेर लिएर आएर त्यसलाई चाहिँ एक्जाम्पल सेट गरिदिने,
maybe or ask them to explain something or do
engagement create गर्ने, त्यही
engagement create, classroom engagement, interactivity, engagement. So where they have a confidence, if my level, my age group can do without the support, I should be able to do as well. And most of the time my approach has been engagement through challenges on the projects and different assignments. They are not always conventional.
मलाई एउटा शेयर गर्न मलाई आफ्नो बोस्ट गरे त हैन, एउटा स्टुडेन्टले चाहिँ मलाई के भन्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ, सर द रिजन इट इज भेरी इजी टु लर्न फ्रम यु इज बिकज वेन एभर वी हेभ टु स्पिक टु यु आस्क युर क्वेसन, देयर इज नो फियर गरे के, देयर इज लिटरली नो फियर. एन्ड आई डु नट इभन हेभ टु हेभ अ सेकेन्ड थर्ड कि अनुप सरसँग कुरा गरौँ कि नरौँ भनेर के. एन्ड आई थिङ्क एन्ड विथ यु हेभ अलवेज मेन्टेन द्याट के होइन. रवि सरसँग आएर के एउटा लजिक दिन एउटा कुरा गर्नुलाई चाहिँ डरा ढुक हुनु पर्दैन कि. And there are a lot of teachers who carry a sense of a fear, sense of a in them, because they think that will give them more respect. And I think it's myth. It's ke bhanne lai. You want someone to learn from you, but then you also want someone to be afraid of you. He's a hypocrite.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I have been like I do events with a student where I give all them leadership role to them, and I always try to maintain a backseat, and not do everything myself. So they become their own leaders, and they sometimes come to me and talk to me.
So a teacher is a true leader.
Yeah. Maybe, but I try to maintain myself as a manager, bring more leaders.
The reason मैले हजुरलाई त भन्न खोजेको चाहिँ किनभने अहिले कम्पनी रन गर्दाखेरि त कस्तो हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ होइन अहिले त धेरै त्यो डिसिजन लिनु धेरै सजिलो भएको छ एकदमै टु बी भेरी जेन्युइन होइन केम फ्रम अ टेक्निकल ब्याकग्राउन्ड कतिपय खतरा अपर्च्युनिटिज आउँथ्यो क्या कम्पनी रन गर्दाखेरि होइन फोटोग्राफीको ऊको हुन्छ नि त्यो गर्नको जुन कुरा चाहिँ गर्न मन लाग्थ्यो कि पहिला आफूलाई होइन बट देन नाउ यु हेभ टु गिभ इट टु समवन एल्स के सो द्याट हि क्यान ग्रो एन्ड यु टेक अ ब्याक डोर के हुन्छ होइन सो यु सिइङ हिम ग्रोन इज योर इन अ वे इट्स अब इफ यु क्यान अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड द्याट वेट त्यो आफूमै तिम्रो एउटा ग्रोथ हो
Exactly. That's but sometimes what happens by their short vision, these leaders they try to limit themselves, and they try to see that is like maybe that's some kind of gap or
true things. So I think I'm also I'm teaching new semester again, so I'll try to make sure that I implement more of this on my classes.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Now this is a very एउटा स्टुडेन्टले आफ्नो टिचरलाई सोधिरहेको छ हाउ क्यान ही बी अ बेटर टिचर सो मुभिङ अन सर होइन मलाई चाहिँ अब सँग चाहिँ एसक्युसीको बारेमा कुरा गर्नु मन छ वाट इज एसक्युसी बिकज आई थिङ्क यु हेभ इन्भेस्टेड सो मच अफ यर टाइम इन्टु इट होइन 13 crazy years.
Almost, yes. SQC is a noble idea. I mean, to look from the idea perspective. Let me define a little bit, and then I'll come to what we have been talking throughout this morning. SQC means Students Quality Circle, as such.
Is it also a community driven?
Yeah, it is a community driven. Students Quality Circle. Meaning that by these students, they work constantly to identify their own problems, analyze them, and solve them through their own resources. In fact, SQC teaches this hackathon, hacking culture.
Hackathon भन्ने
hackathon or hacking insight, hacking mindset into students.
Into anything.
Hacking anything means.
I mean, like you
thought. So what process. Is hacking? Now let's try to understand what is hacking, what is quality. In both of this, quality and hacking. The central idea is you find a problem and solve it. A good hacker is one who can solve their problem. Who constantly solves some problem that they are facing or society is facing or anybody is facing. And in quality, there is a school, a line of thought. What it says is you try to find the problem, you identify its root causes and solve it. And you're transforming your life to be more qualitative life. Life is more inclined towards quality. And we are using this SQC for personality building. What we call good and smart characters. The goodness is about social, community-driven, proactive citizen. Smartness is about their ability to compete to solve their own problems. So we are trying to inculcate this goodness and smartness in a child, trying to make total quality person. That's SQC. In SQC also fundamentally students they learn to solve their problems in a team. They build their own community. So with that, in due course of time, we'll be getting a citizen who would be more independent and they take their own responsibility of the problem they're facing and solve it.
I think your layman a little complicated was, sir.
Okay, let's try to simplify. You ask me more questions, I can answer you, and that will simplify things.
मलाई actually फेरि यो यसको स्ट्रक्चरको जस्तै for example,
it's 3 fundamental things. What we teach to help them identify their problem. उनीहरुको एभ्री डे लाइफमा जे प्रब्लम फेस गरिरहेछ त्यो प्रब्लमहरु आइडेन्टिफाई गर्न हेल्प गर्छ.
एज ब्यारियर छ कि
छैन. वी हेभ स्टार्टेड हुन त नर्मली वी से 4 क्लासतिरबाट सुरु गर्ने भनेर भनिरहन्छ होइन. द्याट मिन्स 10 years old. समटाइम वी हेभ डन 1 class 2 क्लासहरूमा पनि स्टार्ट गरेको छ. वी हेभ गट अमेजिङ रिजल्ट.
सो यु हेल्प एक 1 क्लासमा पढ्ने बच्चालाई चाहिँ टु आइडेन्टिफाई हिज प्रब्लम्स.
यस.
हाउ
they sit down together, we discuss, communicate with them.
How do you discuss with class 1 मा पढ्ने बच्चाको?
We don't need to literally do, but their teachers can do it.
Okay.
The teacher, who are teaching them every day,
Okay.
they know how to communicate with them.
Okay.
And then when they are communicating, they might not be able to write in the chartboard or chart paper or anything, but this teacher would write and ask them if...
So she would be documenting the process.
Yes.
And SQC मा चाहिँ documentation कतिको strong हुन्छ?
It's very... I mean, documentation is the key.
Documentation is the key to SQC. So let's say एउटा एकदमै अवेर बच्चा 17 वर्षको बच्चा हैन एसएलसी गरेर सक्यो हैन अब how would he be involved in the process of identifying his problems?
So they make a small group 4 to 10.
Okay, 4 to 10 4 जना देखि 10 जनाको ग्रुप.
हजुर. अनि they sit down a weekly meeting, they do a weekly meeting. And then they start through a process of identification of the problem. Every member is facing. They prioritize the problem they can resolve. Just so they don't take international terrorism as a problem or global warming as a problem, but they take problem that they face in everyday life and they can solve with their own resources. They categorize in group A, group B, or group C.
जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल एउटा प्रब्लम मैले इमेजिन गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ मेरो घरदेखि अफिस आउने बाटोमा चाहिँ या मेरो घरदेखि गार्डन आउने बाटोमा चाहिँ 4 छ हैन. नाउ द्याट इज अ प्रब्लम. त मलाई चित्त बुझिराखेन हैन. अब मैले गर्न के सक्छु एउटा डस्टबिन किनेर 3टा डस्टबिन किनेर ठाउँमा राख्दिन सक्छु. Now is that
yeah, that is
I'm just trying to come up with more real-time examples.
Exactly.
So it becomes easier for our viewers.
Okay, so that is identifying problem and solving it. The middle analyzing part is missing. So why is that place always like dirty, or you having trashes in that place? That might be a question. तिमी सधैँ त्यो बाटो सफा गरिरहेछ तर पनि फेरि फोहोर भइरहेछ. त्यहाँ त केही कुरा छ नि त. डस्टबिन भए पनि त्यो प्रब्लम रिजल्भ नहुन सक्छ. त्यही भएर एसकेसीमा अब यहाँनिर चाहिँ हामी के भनेर हुन्छ, प्रब्लम छ फाइन, तर त्यसको एनालाइज गरेर रुट कज फाइन्ड गर्नु पनि उत्तिकै इम्पोर्टेन्ट छ बिफोर यु इम्प्लिमेन्ट सोल्युसन. हुनसक्छ त्यो सोल्युसन द्याट माइट एन्ड अप त्यो वेस्ट बिन राख्ने कुरामै एन्ड अप होला एन्ड द्याट माइट सल्भ, बट देन डोन्ट मिस आउट द मिडल स्टेप.
अनि यसलाई चाहिँ कति प्रोसेस दिने हामीले यो प्रब्लम सल्भ गर्नको लागि? त बच्चाहरूले अब जस्तो 1 हप्ता 2 हप्ता 3 हप्ता 4 हप्ता
यस्तो हुन्छ. अब स्लोली पिपल माइट डु इट इन 2 days or 3 days, द्याट्स अ डिफरेन्ट थिङ. बट देन इन दिस प्रोसेस अफ एसक्युसी वी हेभ एकदम थरो प्रोसेस बुझ्नको लागि चाहिँ 16 to 18 weeks
लाग्छ. अनि इट क्यान अल्सो बी अ भेरी पर्सनल प्रब्लम. जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल a student is getting bullied and he is going through a depression. Now that could be a problem he identified.
Yes, and our students, they have identified this problem and solved it.
Okay.
In the classroom.
Okay. तर त्यसको लागि त अब त्यो किडको अनि ओपननेसहरु पनि इन्करेज गर्न पर्यो.
And it's about the kid, but now that's a teamwork.
The kid has to be open about sharing his deep personal problem.
The kid might have problem opening up in the society, but not with the team.
Okay.
So like-minded friendsहरुको जुन टिम छ त्यो like-minded टिममा त शेयर गर्नुलाई प्रब्लम हुँदैन नि त.
सो एसक्युसीले बनाइदिने भनेको त एउटा प्लेटफर्म हो जहाँ चाहिँ कपल अफ like-minded people come together.
Yes. And also gives you a process of identification of problem.
And how do it makes you the group is like-minded people?
It's a voluntary. They form the team themselves. Okay. It's a voluntary. We don't enforce or we don't say any criterions, anything.
Okay. And there has been, and you have involved in this since last 13 years.
Yes.
What are the...
And I started with age group of 16, 17 when I started it.
What are the big changes that you have seen and that have inspired you or made you an impact?
So my students who have actually worked in SQC, after 6 years or 7 years, they call me back and they say that when I did my bachelor's case study or when I did my master's thesis, and the thing that I have learned in SQC has helped them.
Nice.
And that gives me immense pleasure.
True. टिचरको एउटा सबभन्दा ठुलो प्लेजर भनेकै द सक्सेस अफ द स्टुडेन्ट हो कि है. आई थिङ्क टिचिङ इज वान अफ द मोस्ट नचाहँदै कि किन भन्छु भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ होइन मैले रियलाइज गरेको जस्तै इट्स बिन 7 years द्याट आइम इन दिस बिजनेस होइन. आई हेभ स्टार्टेड फ्रम टिचिङ के. आई हेभ टट अ लट अफ पिपल. एउटा पोइन्टमा त्यस्तो थियो कि 70-80% टिमै मेरो स्टुडेन्ट थियो कि होइन. एन्ड लट अफ पिपल देम हेभ के अरे गोन आउट एन्ड स्टार्टेड देयर ओन बिजनेस के इन अ वे कि few have gone in a very smooth way, few have gone in a very friction way, I know. But then even when they are gone and started a similar business that I am doing, I know, when they succeed on those, it gives me a डिप इनसाइडमा एउटा सानो प्लेजर चाहिँ हुन्छ कि डेफिनेटली त्यहाँ कम्पिटेटिभको भावना हुन्छ खतरा गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने ऊ हुन्छ तर कतै कतै कि आई क्यान सेन्स द्याट के त्यो फिल हुन्छ जस्ट नाइस टाइप हुन्छ नि होइन त्यो फिलिङ चाहिँ हुने कि अनि आई थिङ्क जस्ट आइएम जस्ट एडिङ हजुरको प्लेजरमा चाहिँ आइएम जस्ट एडिङ माई थट मात्र है
थ्याङ्क यू
anything that you want to say about SQC because I think हामीले एकदमै बेसिक मात्र कुरा गर्यौँ
okay so it leads to many different advantages. SQC is also a culture of taking ownership of the problem. So that
your problem ki someone else's problem, community ko problem ki your problem,
our own problem.
Community
if we
problem.
are able to solve our own problem, so eventually society can solve their own problem and country can solve our own problem. We don't need to be dependent on like international consultants or some big experts to solve a national problem.
So how can I apply SQC in my company?
It's making a small circle. If you study a little bit, Japanese, they started implementing QC, quality circle, in the Japanese enterprises. And they were the market leaders by 20 years. They were the market leaders in every forefront. And the credit goes to quality circle. So the quality circle was in fact enhanced and came to the academia. We brought it to the academia through SQC.
So अब चाहिँ कम्युनिटी बनाउन सानो कम्युनिटी बनाउन सक्यो भने मैले यो ग्रुपमा मेरो कम्पनीमा आई थिङ्क द्याट क्यान अनि क्यान देयर बी लाइक क्यान वान पर्सन बी इन्भल्भ अन टु ग्रुप सो चाहिँ मलाई एउटा चाहिँ के बनाउनु मन छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ आफ्नो यो कम्पनीमा चाहिँ मेन्टल हेल्थ ग्रुप के जहाँ चाहिँ जस्तै फर इक्जाम्पल वेयर पिपल क्यान वेयर द होल द सेम पिपल वर्किङ इन मतलब यो जुन 18-19जनाको ग्रुप छ नि जो काम गरिरहेको छ नि यति कसैलाई एन्जाइटी छ कतिलाई प्यानिक अट्याक हुन्छ यति कसैलाई थट प्रोसेसमा गाह्रो हुन्छ भने दे क्यान come together and we actually talk about it. Okay?
See, that way the problem is mental health awareness something. Now, with the name, what are you focusing on?
Mental health.
Mental health, mental issues. Do people feel good about like coming to a team where they're talking about mental issues?
I think that's
that's awkwardness.
That's the status quo we need to change.
I agree, but now let's look at the other side. Quality circle. Why are you coming to a quality circle?
To enhance quality.
Now it looks more lucrative. So your result of when people start being in a group and sharing, many of their psychological problems are
shared anyway.
Shared and they get faded.
Solved.
Solved. Most of the psychological problem emerges from our
lack of communication.
No, we don't have a platform. We don't have a group where to share. So we have seen that in the students in the schools. When they started working in SQC and when they started sharing, they have been more outspoken, they have been more smiling and they are more friendlier, more happier.
So मैले चाहिँ कुन एङ्गलबाट सुन्न खोजेको भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ if I have to make a group inside my office 18-19 जनाकोमा 20 जनाको ग्रुपमा how do I make a group?
Make a group of like maybe you may want to make 2 or 3 groups.
So SQC1, SQC2, SQC3.
Not SQC, but here it will be a quality circle.
Quality circle 1, quality circle 2, quality circle 3.
Yeah, and they can give their own name. Circle name can be.
And how do I bring these people together?
And then you allocate 1 hour or 1.5 hour a week, and they sit down in a meeting, and they have a process. I mean, process of identification to solution, and they follow few scientific tools. There are some scientific tools that they could be using throughout the process.
And I think would it make sense to make it more autonomous? I not getting involved in any group. I just being a moderator.
Yeah, you'll be in the steering committee. You only empower the team, and once they understand the process, they can do themselves. Maybe you may have to do 1 or 2 case study together, or you may not be involved in the process at all. That's okay. And it was in Japan. It was a huge success, and it was completely employee driven. अब यहाँनिर नेपालमा हेऱ्यो भने त्यो इम्प्लोइ राइटको लागि यो देयर आर प्लेन्टी अफ अर्गनाइजेसन्स होइन तर दे टेक नो इनिसिएटिभ टु सल्भ द प्रब्लम अफ द वर्क प्लेस. जापानमा जस्ट रिभर्स के भने त्यो इम्प्लोइ चाहिँ यति टाइटली अर्गनाइजेसनसँग इन्टिग्रेटेड हुन्थ्यो र अर्गनाइजेसनको प्रब्लम सल्भ गरिरहेको हुन्थ्यो कि आफू पनि दे वर्क इन द बेटर वर्क प्लेस नि त क्यान यु इमेजिन इन नेपाली अर्गनाइजेसन वेन कम्पनी इज इन प्रफिट फाइन दे गेट अ बेटर बोनस वेन कम्पनी इज इन लस दे आर रेडी टु डिक्रिज द स्यालेरी
No.
But in Japan it is. Why? Because they own that company as if it's there. And the credit goes to this kind of like community efforts where they have the sense of ownership.
Nice. I think you make me realize कि I should dig into this QC quality service भनेर.
Quality circles.
Circle, sorry. हजुरको I want to talk about your Agile and Scrum.
Agility is next culture to get our work done, more autonomous. You're talking about autonomous team to being able to take up a project and do it. Okay, like traditionally, most of the organizations in the service industry, they try to build up a long hierarchy, and information has to float through the layer, and interfacing the client. Some top level management interfaces the client. And the end
have no access to a client.
With a hierarchy. That way, what is delivered to the client
is completely opposite of what they wanted.
Might turn up to be completely opposite. In Agile mindset, to make one who is producing to directly link between the expectation, that gap is breached. Scrum is a framework, Agile friendly framework. That makes the entire process much easier.
And also transparent.
More transparent. Where people who are producing, people who are working to give the services are directly meeting the expectation versus delivery. So that's a simpler way I could explain about the Agile and the Scrum thing. Though this came more into IT industry, it is said worldwide, nearly 54 plus the entire industry has adopted one form of other form of Agile framework throughout the industry. In IT industry, in other industries is relatively less. In sales is somewhere around 26%, and in manufacturing it is some lesser percent. So there are different industry adopting to different layer. And I have also studied the application of Scrum in education industry. It's called EDU Scrum. EDU Scrum, where the learners are given challenges to learn something, and then they design their own learning goals, and they implement this Scrum framework to better manage their learning initiative in the school. So it can be applied. So only what I'm trying to break the idea is, in market most of the people, they think Agile and Scrum is only for IT industry, software delivery. No, it can be used in company like yours, multimedia, or in a school, or it can be used in a sales.
How simple is the execution? Or how complicated is it?
It is simple. It is simple. Suppose like let's say Vision about 2020, you're talking about me earlier. यसमा चाहिँ इन्डस्ट्रीले टुरिज्म इन्डस्ट्रीमा पनि मेबी वी कुड ब्रिङ टप प्लेयर्सहरू 100-150 गरेर यो स्क्रम चाहिँ सेल्स टिममा इम्प्लिमेन्ट गऱ्यो भने क्विक सेल्स बुस्टअपको लागि विभिन्न खालको एकदम क्रिएटिभ आइडियाजहरू आउन सक्थ्यो.
ओके,
इट क्यान बी युज्ड लाइक इन द्याट एस्पेक्ट एज वेल, or it can be used anywhere.
Definitely. So are you using that in your company?
Yes, I have been using.
What is the big difference that you see before using it and after using it?
Before using Scrum, it was difficult to trace the contribution of the developers into a certain project. But after implementing it, things were more transparent. Some of my developers, they left, because everything was visible and transparent. And some of they enjoyed it because their contribution was counted.
True. And I think that's a very encouraging to a lot of people who stayed.
Yeah.
Because they were accountable to the contribution they were making. So moving on, so you have traveled to China, you have traveled to US, you're traveling in next couple of days to Europe. For how long?
For a month.
For a month. अनि मलाई चाहिँ what is your learning from all these travels that you have traveling that you have done?
See, traveling is one of the biggest way to learn things, I guess. After we
Biggest or fastest?
faster both. Both. After we leave the university, we don't have enough space to, I mean, like linear learning. Though every day, every life, everything teaches us. But then, so I wouldn't learn about the significance of including vegetable diet, organic diet, and the variety of possible, like you see, in China, when you go, if you order one main course, there are 5 or 6 other courses, and all they are vegetables and meat and soup, and the course their whole entire fooding is very near to farming and agriculture and organic things, and that gave me a different perspective of life. That was one of the biggest lessons I could learn. With their old heritage and the culture of
For a man who always had multiple perspective towards one thing, so did it just added more additional layers of perspective?
yes, yeah, that was a complete different dimension. So when I was with them, the team, the host family, from second day I started using chopstick. In a couple of days I was as good as them using chopstick.
Nice. Do you still use chopstick while eating ajkal?
No, of course not.
Why?
But then when I'm with the Chinese, I can do it.
Okay, nice. And what about हाम्रो US को learning?
And then US learning was a complete hack for me. See, till the day I was flying, I was not having a concrete plan.
Okay, nice.
So there was a program I was attending. It was a hacker meet. It's called GOAT, Gathering of Open Agriculture Technology. That was a program designed for the hackers. They were working in the agriculture technology. We were building up a system for Nepal government on agriculture platform, and I was invited in the program, and I went there. And being with the hackers, so the best thing I learned with them was how was community managed, and how was collaboration with 60 people, 5 days, everyone contributing a single central theme, and bringing in the knowledge from every single people. Our conferences here in Nepal, we have conferences, many conferences as such. There, 20 speakers, 200 people. And these 20 people are speaking and 200 people are listening. And what we tend to think, these 20 people knows everything. That's a bullshit. Okay. But there, 60 people participating, everyone contributing every day, and all that knowledge coming, centralized and documented and distributed.
So it's not with just like 60 people are the speakers, 60 people are the participants.
Yes.
The same speaker are the participants.
Yes. And that was amazing. They were broken down into the group, and they were doing the group work, they were presenting the idea, everyone was presenting the idea, and they were documented, and all that was piled up. Duplicacy of the ideas were removed, and like the way knowledge was created in those 5 days, the knowledge creation. So here we have a big hangover of knowledge transfer, disseminating knowledge. But there they are working in knowledge co-creation. I guess knowledge co-creation is one good thing that we go to practice if we want more creative people.
It's a similar concept with open source.
Yes. Open source is about knowledge co-creation. But proprietary software is about consuming a binary.
Creation and consumption.
Yes.
There is
And
no
doers,
co in it.
basically hackers and doers are the people who are co-creating.
True. But doing something.
Yes.
True.
While doing, we are co-creating.
True. Amazing answer, sir. So I think we are almost to our end of the podcast. I think अहिलेसम्म यति कसरी हेरिरहेको छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ I think कति धेरै आइडियाजहरू आइसकेको छन् अनि I think I see you no less than a thought leader होइन अनि त अहिले मैले मेरो लाइफमा मेरो करियरमा अब once you are into entrepreneurship there is nothing called working 9 to 6 you work all the time होइन अनि that because you enjoy you have no complaints होइन though I complain at times but then again on an upper level there is no complaint.
Critical thing is not a complaint. You might have been critical about certain things, but that's not a complaint.
That's not a complaint. True. थ्याङ्क यू फर द भेलिडेसन आई फिल गुड सो मैले भन्नु खोजेको चाहिँ अहिले राइट नाउ एनिथिङ द्याट आई 90% अफ द थिङ्स द्याट आई डु इज अराउन्ड कन्टेन्ट के इज अराउन्ड कन्टेन्ट एन्ड द कन्टेन्ट वर्ड सबभन्दा फर्स्ट टाइम सुनेको हजुरबाट हो होइन बिकज यु हेभ अलवेज बिन एडभोकेटिङ अबाउट गुड कन्टेन्ट्स होइन कन्टेन्ट मलाई कति समय याद छ कि हजुरले जब एउटा आइडिया के सेयर गर्नु आई फर्गट द टर्म होइन जस्तै 20जना खतरा राइटरलाई लिएर जाने एउटा कुनै रिसोर्टमा होइन
बुक स्प्रिन्ट
होइन 25 दिन 30 दिन 40 दिन त्यही खान्छन् त्यही बस्छन् त्यही
इट्स अबाउट आइडिया इज 5 days
5 days
20
writers
maybe n number of writers they produce a good book and I have done it and we have in SQC our course book for grade 6 was written through sprint
nice so this is the ideas and it's about producing content नि त हैन अनि अहिले फर्ममा आएर चाहिँ I am trying to be one of the most so my goal is by the end of 2020 I want to be a company that produce maximum visual content in the country without every verticals that we are in comedy, weddings, social media, doers and a lot of other platforms that we are experimenting on. I want to be a company that produce maximum content. So my question is, Ravi sir, when are you producing video content for yourself, for the ideas that you have, for the thought process that you have studied for so long? Because I think this is the right time for you to come outside in a video or in audio form, in LinkedIn, in Facebook, on YouTube. When are you doing that?
I guess today, and we have begun.
Nice. That's a nice answer. So I hope I will get to see a lot of visual content from your side and presenting a lot of your ideas because this is hot time. This is a fucking right time to come out with these technologies and creating a bigger impact. And I think you have oceans of information to be told. And if not now, I think it's gonna you dabiera you फेरि documentation हुने वाला छैन.
Yeah, I remember some of your friends back in your college saying me or walking encyclopedia times.
which you are on a lot of greater extent. So मेरो last question चाहिँ के हो भन्दाखेरि सर if you were given a platform, let's say a billboard with millions and billions of people are watching it every day, what would you write? Now this cannot be a random quotes from internet. It has to be something that you have believed, lived, executed, and had made an impact on you. And I would want you to say it to the world. You can say it first, and then you can write it on one of our plates.
Okay, the central of almost everything that we have talked, like the central idea is about constantly chasing the best ideas or the knowledge that you have been doing. So pursue what you think is good. Rest will just follow.
Pursue what you think
is good.
Good for yourself.
What do you think good? Yes. And rest will just follow.
True. Nice.
So everything that I have learned, either NLP, neuro linguistic programming, or SQC, or open source, or Agile and Scrum, or in the speaking community, in the Agora and Toastmasters and kind of things, I have pursued for myself. And rest of other, they just followed.
True. So true. I think the thing is, my audience like it is quite not possible to get all the ideas of Ravi sir on one session. So we will be doing again another session and we're going to talk about Agora. We're going to talk about Toastmaster. We're going to talk about a lot of other things, but then we have a time constant. So I think I would want you to write these things on one of our plates and we'll conclude the podcast.
Sure. Thank you.
You can take you can take your headphone and then you can come and you can right. Abhishek Dai will take a closer footage of you writing on it. And this would be saved on our history. All of it. I think only 3 plates are remaining. Which is your favorite color? Green, yeah, red.
We have a green, you have
red. We have
green
2 greens, yes. हजुर
Yeah.
Perfect. And your signature with your name. Perfect. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you so much for your time. होइन हजुर अब चाँडै नै बाहिर गइराख्नु भएको छ, त्यही भए पनि हजुरले आफ्नो बिजी सेड्युलबाट टाइम निकालेर यो हामीलाई दिनुभयो. Thank you so much for coming to Doers. The whole idea of Doers is to bring people who are actually doing something unique in this country, so that we can actually tell people कि there are a lot of things, lot of opportunities, scope to be explored. And yeah, I think हजुरलाई के भन्न छ, के थप्नु
Thank you. Thank you, Anup, for this opportunity. We, I guess, co-created a little bit of knowledge together. And hope community benefits from certain ideas. And I would love to say to the community, if you want to learn anything about any of these ideas, there are plenty of other ideas also will be coming up in the next session. If you want, please feel free to communicate with me, and we can always collaborate.
Yes.
And we can bring things forward.
Yes, Ravi Bhattarai is the name.
Thank you.
So yeah guys, यति यहाँसम्म चाहिँ सुनिसक्नु भएको छ भन्दाखेरि I know that tons of thought that we discussed. अनि I hope कतिले चाहिँ कति राइट पर्सनलाई चाहिँ कतिपय कुराहरूले ट्रिगर गर्यो होला, अनि कतिपय इन्साइट पनि भयो होला. अनि please be a doer, do something. This is the right time for us, for young people like us, to initiate new things in this country. And I think a lot of things can be achieved in our generation, and I'm very hopeful and I'm very positive, and I'm gonna come back in our next episode with an amazing doer. Till then, you guys take care, bye bye. And yes, please do support us through your subscription, likes, comments, because these are the only 3 things that is motivating us to come up with more and more such episodes. We're gonna come back again. You guys take care, bye bye.